Come on now, come on now, come on now, come on now. I know you're all bummed out. I know you're all bummed out. It's a total bummer. Coronavirus, COVID, total bummer. Look at all the people waiting at the bank across the street. Total bummer, right? See them all over there? Big long line to get in the bank. Everything is a total hassle now. Got to wear your mask anytime you're near anybody, which is really important. I always thought this thing was airborne. If someone's sneezing out the window of their car in front of you on the freeway, better be careful. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, but if you're bummed out like everybody else, well, this is probably the plant that'll cheer you up the quickest. It's like cocaine for getting cheered up. Look at this. This is Lampranthus, whole family of ice plants native to South Africa. And this is one of my favorites right here. I've had this in my garden a long time. This is not my garden, but I just driving by and I'm like, hey, I gotta make a video because this thing only blooms for about 2 or 3 weeks. But check it out. This has got to be the most beautiful plant in the world for about a week or two. How do you, and look, it's just growing like out of the grass. That's the sidewalk. Like, look at, here's a Raphelialepis. It's not even doing well, but you can see this, it's a succulent here. It gets a big woody trunk eventually, and it makes a big giant bush. Now, I have done crazy things with this plant in landscapes before, where I've like put like a whole line of them, like a hedge, and it's just insane when it blooms. The rest of the year, it's just kind of a gray. It's kind of okay. It kind of looks like a lavender that's not in flower. But when it's in bloom, I mean, it is absolutely spectacular. So we're gonna have this plant in our nursery. We call this the lavender bush, and so that we'll have it for you. And it's wonderful. It's super drought tolerant. Put it in xeric gardens, no problem. Now, if you put it in the shade, look what happens. It just kind of gets a little thinned out. Doesn't do as well. It still looks pretty cool, but it does get a little thinner. So just know that it really wants to be in the sun. And if you put it in the sun, you're going to get just a super spectacular bloom out of it, like this one right here. And like I said, just keep looking at these pictures, these videos here. I'll cheer you up every possible time I find an opportunity to do so. Well, maybe this will be a whole series on Lampranthus. Some of the Lampranthus are spreading. They'll spread a little bit, but these are actually individual little bushes. This is the short, I guess what would you call this one? Dark purple. But you can see all the different types. There's yellow, red, white, pink. This is another one of my favorites. What's nice about this is it doesn't get too far out of bounds because it just grows in one cluster. It doesn't really root as it goes like some of the others. Here's another type up here, different type. But anyway, remember what I said? I'm gonna cheer you up. I'm gonna cheer you up. I'm gonna cheer you up. And you thought I was lying. You thought I was lying to you when I said there's yellow. I wasn't lying. I don't lie. At least not about this. So this is just getting ready. It's gonna bloom more heavily here. And there is the yellow ice plant. Isn't that pretty? I used to have a property. Here's some nice bougainvillea. Great combination right there. Look at that. I used to have a property in Martinez, and maybe some people watching this might remember because I had a lot of garden tours there. It was 3/4 of an acre on top of a hill, and I had all these big patches of ice plant amongst all these other exotic plants, and they all would bloom in concert with one another. And it was the biggest spectacle, actually. It was the approach to Buchanan Airport. And I met some guys that landed planes there, and they were like, oh yeah, we know that property. Everybody flies over that and talks all about it when it's in bloom. There was a kind of a dangerous curve down below the garden, a 2-lane divided road with a big slope in between it. And I caused a rollover accident while I was up on the hill gardening. And I heard this, I looked down, I heard this big crash. And I looked down there, and this dude had been looking up at my hill, and there's a part where you gotta turn. If you don't turn, you go off on the curb, and it's a big slope down to the next road. And he rolled all the way down. He didn't get hurt. And then about 2 or 3 other people ran off the road there. Same thing over a period of 7 years. And I thought, I'm gonna kill somebody just by planting ice plant. So be careful if you're gonna plant this stuff. I'll show you some more color stuff. Orange, we have orange. Look at the different texture on the foliage on this one. Isn't that pretty? That's orange. Yep. I told you there's orange, and there is orange. Orange in the sunlight. That one's called Rosea, and that's a spreading one. Fantastic for erosion control. Bush purple. This is different than the first one we saw today. Has a more purpley foliage in there. You see the purple coloration a little bit, but also has a purple. This is not the best example. I think this one didn't get any water, but this actually will bloom. This one will bloom sporadically all year long, and right now this is not the best. But it does show that there's bush purple. Bush purple. And this is what the ice plant looks like when you put it all together and it's in full bloom. I'm heading up to a client's house doing a landscape design in their backyard. This is their front yard. This is the most fire resistant landscape that you can have. All of this ice plant and nothing else protecting the home. And this is the time of year, the spring. This stuff goes off. You can see how fire hazardous this property would be. The ridge tops were way up above the city. And if you ever come up here, here is your meet and greet. Hopefully he likes my plan and doesn't eat me. Here we go. What's happening there? Woo!